guys, and welcome to this developer news / devlog of November 2024. This will be, I guess, a short little one, but a very important one because I'm gonna reveal the release date of the multiplayer update, the huge, big multiplayer update. And I'm gonna do it now. Boom. Developer news, November 2024. Little update from me, the developer. First thing first, the big multiplayer update will be released on 29th of November 2024. So on that date, I will change the default version of the game to what we currently have on the multiplayer beta. The multiplayer beta is basically just the new version that is called multiplayer beta right now. But on this date, that version will be the main one that everybody has. So suddenly we go from only being a few people playing it to everybody playing it. Plus, we are starting to get into the high season of fireworks and for the game. So I hope to see a lot more people in games, and also hopefully people will invite their friends and maybe new people think it looks interesting now with this new look and characters and multiplayer and all that. I will post on the date, of course, explaining more about what's new and all that stuff, but more about that later.
Hello?
Sir, get down there.
Oh, sorry. Is it not allowed to be on the shelves?
In the store?
This is not the Oktoberfest. You cannot dance on the tables here.
Oh, okay.
I don't like this one. I don't like this one. And I don't.
So what I've changed since the last developer news? Well, actually a lot of different things, but I've highlighted a few things here. So I changed the way that you select mods. Beforehand, you were going into the workshop and you were, of course, subscribing. That's still how it works. You subscribe and unsubscribe inside the workshop. But before, you were going into the collection and enabling and disabling what mods you wanted in your game. However, that has been annoying me for a while because there was a kind of a long distance from being inside the workshop in the collection view, enabling and disabling mods, and then go in and create either a single player or multiplayer game. And that was kind of not intuitive, I think. So I've changed that now. So the workshop still works as you subscribe and unsubscribe from in there, but there's no enable and disable in there anymore. That have been moved to the UI where you create a game. It's the same for single player and multiplayer. The UI is the same, but basically now you have a list under your other game settings. You have a list of all the mods you're subscribed to, and then you just check off the ones you want, pick the map, of course, and then you create your game. I find this way of doing it much more intuitive and easier to understand, I think. And also it remembers what mods you enabled. Single player and multiplayer is different in that sense. So the single player mods are saved in one file and the multiplayer ones are saved in another file behind the scenes. Anyway, for you, it's just remembering what you checked off last time you created a game. And then it will start out by pre-selecting that, so you don't have to select it over and over again. So that's pretty cool, and something I actually wanted to do for a while but never got to it. But soon, because we are getting out to more people, I need to make it easier to figure out how to do things. So therefore I created it now, so we have that in place before going live with this to everybody. Next one is actually a small one, but also a big one, because I added bindings to settings. But there's a little asterisk to that one, and that is it's only listing the bindings. You cannot change the bindings yet. That will hopefully come later. But right now I just added it to the settings because this is the place people will go to figure out what buttons you can press and stuff like that. So I added it here so you can see whatever the different buttons do, but you can't rebind them yet.
That smells like a bit illegal.
I don't know if a nuke is
MANIA.
legal.
I found something very suspicious right here. Very suspicious.
There's someone on the other side.
Oh, run outside. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
I almost went wrong. Whew. Yeah, that was close. That was close. That was a little too close, yeah.
What would happen if I lit this right here?
So that was the main thing I changed in the game. It doesn't look like much, but actually this one in particular have a lot of changes behind the scenes to it. One of the benefits that it also have is that I forgot to mention before, is that instead of having to check for updates for everything every time you want to go in and create a game, wait with that until you create the game. So now the update of mods and checking for updates of mods is part of the loading scene. That means that you get into this UI much quicker because it doesn't have to check for updates all the time. But the loading screen is a little longer. It's not actually loading slower, it's loading the same time, but it does this update checking and downloading mods as part of the loading screen. So that also means when you are joining a game, like either from within the game or using the join a friend thing via Steam, which also works, which is pretty nice. So you can actually join a friend via the Steam friend list thing without having the game started at all. It will just start up the game and join your friend. But anyway, sidetrack there. But as part of that loading screen, it will check for updates for only the mods that is enabled in this game, and then download the mods that you don't have. Like if you're joining a friend who have some mods subscribed that you don't have, then it will subscribe you to these mods and download them and make sure you have the latest version, and then you join your friend. I don't know if that makes sense, but I had to change a lot to make this work, even though it looks like only a UI change. It's actually a bigger change underneath. Anyway, moving on to some community shout out, which this time goes to Keltazar for creating a well, right now it's a tech demo. It's not released yet. He's working on it, but he have a mod in works that we hopefully see at some point, where there is an NPC crowd in there. So as far as I know, so far they don't react to fireworks, but they are standing like a crowd looking at fireworks, and it actually looks pretty good. And for both single player and multiplayer, it might be nice to have a bigger crowd to do your fireworks for. So that's pretty cool. So looking forward to see whenever Keltazar release this one. The last thing, which is an in progress one, because the other things up here I mentioned is actually in the game, is a host UI update, because I want to be able to show and make it possible for the host to show and change some of the settings at least while the game's running. You can change the amount of players and stuff like that, but you can change these settings here, props per player, fireworks per player, and these other things. You can actually enable and disable them during the play, or at least you should be able to. I'm working on that, and also working on adding some UI so you can send host messages. So you can, as a host, type a little message that will then pop up in the corner for all clients on your host. Basically all the stuff you can do from console commands right now, but you know, it's not that easy to use these console commands, so I want to have some UI for it. And the next version of it, I would like to have the same thing, but just as a read-only thing for clients. So at least clients can go in here on the host tab and then see the settings, like see, okay, I have 450 items I can spawn, because right now you can't see that anywhere as a client. So it's minor improvement like that I'm currently working on, because I don't want to change too much big stuff right before pushing this out. So that's all for now. See you in the next one, and hopefully in game soon too. See you.